ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी ऋषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वर। Okay, we continue. Uh, we'll finish this chapter, few slides remaining, and then we will go to the next chapter, which is the activities of Shakshi Gopal. Some of you may have heard the pastime also. So Madhavendrapuri, he went to Remuna, KsirChorGopinath. The pujari who was a brahmana, Gopinath came in his dream and he said, "Well, go to Madhavendrapuri. I have stolen a pot of sweet rice." So he ran. Where is that most fortunate, great personality, Madhavendrapuri? Who is that? But Madhavendrapuri was simply chanting the holy names whole night, lamenting. How can he have such a desire to eat the food which is not even yet being offered? Madhvendrapuri glories. Madhvendrapuri, after realizing he felt everybody will come to know about me, and he did not want uh, um, prestige, so he ran away. And then we saw that he came to Jagannath Puri, and when he came to Jagannath Puri, the news already spread there. So we saw Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami says that a devotee who does not want prestige, who just want to serve Krishna, prestige will follow those devotees. But those who are running behind prestige, they will be humbled. They will get prestige sometimes, sometimes they'll be humbled. So not very conducive. Now here we see that Krishna makes all arrangement for his devotee who wants to serve. So Madhavendrapuri Puri went to Jagannath Puri. He received 82 pounds of sandalwood, 8 ounces camphor, travel expenses for toll, so that helper to carry, and government release papers. So if Krishna has a plan for some devotee to serve in a certain way, Krishna helps that devotee in all means. Like Srila Prabhupada quote this verse, Yoga Shema Mahamiyaham. Krishna says, I preserve what you have and I carry what you lack, to substantiate this, that I carry what you lack. So all Krishna wants from us is a desire to serve, and Krishna has already made all arrangements how the service should be rendered. The only thing that Krishna expects from a devotee is surrender. And surrender means, well, my Lord, I am yours. If we identify ourselves as, okay, we are Krishna's servant, we are trying to do the work of Guru and Krishna. And then everything will be arranged. Very good example is the personal life of Srila Prabhupada. How when he came to America, everything was arranged. He came to India, everything was arranged. Everybody Srila Prabhupada met was arranged. They were like already continuing from previous lives. It's just a divine arrangement that a very exalted soul met Srila Prabhupada. Why Krishna used Srila Prabhupada as the instrument? Because that's what he came for. And Krishna wanted to glorify Srila Prabhupada and Srila Prabhupada's lifetime of preparation. But everything was arranged. Srila Prabhupada said, you all are representative of my spiritual master. In fact, Prabhupada told Yamuna Devi that she's already in the stage of bhava. So I heard like Krishna planted his devotees in different parts of the world, and he used Srila Prabhupada to go all different parts of the world and collect all those seeds and bring them back to India. So that service was given to Prabhupada. And same thing we see in the case of Arjuna, where Krishna says, Nimitta Matram Bhava Savyasachi, that everything is already done by me. This war is arranged by me, and the killing will also be done by me. You become my instrument. That's all. So Krishna made all arrangement, and as soon as Madhvendra Puri came, people were so eager to serve him. They gave him sandalwood, they gave him camphor. Now sandalwood is found in Malaya trees, and sandalwood is one of the most expensive wood. Like I got little bit this much piece of wood from India. It costed like 600 rupees, just this much wood. So we can imagine kgs, and that may be like 5 grams. So we can imagine 40 kilos of sandalwood here. So lot of sandalwood, lot of camphor they gave him. And then how Madhvendra Puri would carry, they gave him somebody who can help him travel back, and also the travel expense for the toll, because Prabhupada says that when you cross between states, there are tolls and you have to pay. Madhvendra Puri is sannyasi. So everything was arranged, and government release paper you also need. Otherwise, you cannot carry those goods from one state to another till you have these kind of release papers. So Krishna makes all arrangement for his devotee who want to serve him. Then, but Krishna reveals the plan to the devotee. Like I always say, we all have some service to Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Krishna reveals his plan to us when we are ready. But till that time, we we just have to very seriously engage ourselves in Krishna consciousness. Thus, Madhvendrapuri returned to Remuna, where he had another dream. Um, Whatever it takes to serve. Praganda premera e swabhava achar, nija dukha vigya dira na kare vichar. This is a natural result of intense love of Godhead. The devotee does not consider personal inconveniences or impediments. In all circumstances, he wants to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Madhavendra Puri actually took a lot of inconvenience. It is described that he also carried a huge amount of sandalwood along with the helpers. They all also carried, and a lot of inconvenience to travel for months in sun, rain, snow. There is no snow, but winter, and just it's tiring also. Um, um, this is a symptom of love and a symptom of faith. The devotee does not consider personal inconveniences or impediments. Okay, I will try to do this seva, but it's very difficult seva, or I don't know what all obstacles will come in this seva. So a devotee does not consider, but surrender means, well, if this is what Guru and Krishna wants me to do, let me do it. Let me do it. In all circumstances, he wants to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A pure devotee always identifies, just like very good example is Srila Prabhupada, how much inconveniences and impediments he has to face to serve Krishna. He's only now he has no personal motive. He's a sannyasi. He has received an order from his Guru Maharaj, preach in English language and preach in the Western world in English language. So we see here printing books, trying to distribute one on one, begging for money, somebody to support him, going 2 months journey in a Jaladuta alone without any support. It is said that Prabhupada's son came there and he was crying when he saw Swamiji at the age of 70. I mean, um, one devotee asked, "Do you know what Prabhupada went through?" He said, "You cannot understand because to understand, first you have to become 70." So at the age of 70, the body starts breaking, and one devotee said, "You know all the joints in your body." So Srila Prabhupada at a very old age is going in Jaladuta, which is a cargo ship. It's practically, other than the captain who are trained, it's inhabitable to go through them. And then what all he went through when he was in America, alone man. Prabhupada said, at some time I was depressed, and he tried so many people to help. He saw a building in New York he wanted to buy. He thought this is great property. He sent how many impediments? He sent letters in India to God brothers that we have a property, we can serve our Guru Maharaj here. There are also some people, but I want to buy um, to establish Krishna consciousness here. So please help me. I need help. Prabhupada now imagine Prabhupada does not his home rent is around $80 or $90. He's getting this home rent by selling his own books. He would go and sell the books, get some money, and with the money that he would get, he would pay the rent. Little extra money he would get, he would go to Walmart, buy the groceries, and cook for these youngsters. So it's a life of selfless service. Now, how can you imagine in that situation, small setting, to buy a property? It's just few months to buy a property which worth like hundreds of thousands of dollars, and so many properties. How can he imagine that? He asked help. One person from India, he said, I will send $25,000. So Prabhupada got a relief that Krishna is arranging. And then Mr. Sani or somebody in India, some big industrialist, he kind of empathize with Srila Prabhupada. Then what happened? The government stopped. The government said money cannot go to US. So um, Srila Prabhupada sent a letter to government, and this industrialist, he said, if you can release paper from government. Now it's different. That time it was different. You have to go through the government. Prabhupada made a request. This is not for any business purposes. This is only to establish our Vedic culture in the Western world. So Prabhupada tried to convince them many ways. The government just rejected, and Prabhupada again went into like Krishna has another plan. Actually, those who are spreading Krishna consciousness in the West, they know even taking $1 from the West towards Vedic temple is unheard of. Even my spiritual master, he's taking care of Bhakti Center in New York. It's a millions of dollars project. Um, um, and he said that Westerns don't give money, so only most of the time only Indians support the temples in the West. Westerns don't give money. But Srila Prabhupada built so many huge temples without taking a single rupee from India. So Krishna had a plan to just glorify Srila Prabhupada in certain way. But Prabhupada is always trying to the best of his intelligence where to get this from, and these Westerners, unknown people are coming and they are helping Srila Prabhupada to build so many temples. So the amount of inconveniences and impediments that Srila Prabhupada faced are unheard of. So Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami, he says, Premera ei swabhav achar. Premera ei swabhav. This is the nature of love. When you love the Supreme Lord, you are willing to go through whatever it takes to serve the Supreme Lord. It is natural for those who have developed intense love for Krishna not to care for personal inconveniences and impediments. Now, this is something Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 12th chapter. He says he describes Vaishnava qualities, and he says one of one of the quality of a Vaishnava, he does not care for residence, does not care for any place. But this is similar that mm, does not care for personal inconvenience and impediment. Such devotees are simply determined to execute the order of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Guru and Krishna wants, I'll do it. If it is difficult, it's okay if it is difficult. But I will not give up my service. I will do my seva. If devotees are too much into what I like to do, what I don't like to do, then uh, it's okay, but the progress will be slow. Krishna decides where he wants to accept service from his devotees. Gopala Asiya kahe suna e Madhava. So again, the same Gopal of Vrindavan, he came in a dream of MadhavendraPuri, and he is speaking with lot of love. Gopal this time. Gopal is telling Gopala Asiya kahe suna hai Madhav. Hey Madhav. So devotee. So if we call a sannyasi, we will call Maharaj Madhavendrapuri. Or Gopal is calling Suna hai Madhav. Hey Madhav, sun. This is loving care between Krishna and his devotee. Karpura Chandana Ami Pailama Sabha. Madhavendra Puri dreamed that Gopal came before him and said, "O Madhavendra Puri, I have already received all the sandalwood and camphor." Now this is so it is described that there is no description of Madhavendra Puri ever going to see Gopal in Vrindavan. Although he was his Ishtadev. We were discussing about Ishtadev. So Gopal came and he said, "Oh, you got sandalwood and camphor in Orissa? Stay there. I have already received my quota. Whatever I wanted, I sent you for. I already received it. I am not different from Gopinath." This is in Remuna. "If you smear the sandalwood pulp on the body of Gopinath, the temperature of my body will be reduced." So, a devotee is servant. So, servant means he is not attached to service. He is attached to principle of service, but he is not attached to nature of service. Means he is not attached to the result of the service. He just want to engage in service. Sometimes devotee becomes very attached to service, and then when they lose the service they become very upset that how can they take away the service from me. But here we saw Madhavendra Puri, his constant meditation is to see Chandan and camphor onto Gopal. And when he came to Gopinath, he said, well, this is already done. So Madhavendra Puri didn't think that, oh, I made so much arrangement to serve you, and then you made your own arrangements and you said it is already done. But Madhavendra Puri was very happy that the Lord came and Lord is reciprocating with me. So he said, um, you help me by serving in Gopinath only. So Krishna decides where he want to accept service from devotees. Gopal has a plan for Madhavendra Puri to serve in uh, Remuna instead of going back to Vrindavan. Another reason described is Gopal knows that there are many inconveniences on the path from Remuna to Vrindavan. It's very far. Madhavendra Puri is very old. He is carrying a huge load. There are many thieves. Sandalwood is very, very expensive, and governments are not going to release. So Gopal is aware of all the practical consideration. So out of his love for Madhavendra Puri also, he said he doesn't want to give inconvenience. So he said, well, this is what um, I want from you. I want from you. Um, so seeing the intention is very good because the Lord loves Madhavendra Puri and the Lord has a intention. How it applies to devotees is sometimes um, devotees may give some service, sometimes devotees may take some service, and many things here and there. Best is to see that the devotee is doing everything for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna, and everything the devotees can see the overall picture, and they see okay what is good for temple, and they are also making their decision based on Krishna's inspiration. So the hand of Krishna should be seen in all circumstances. Okay. Madhavendra Puri stayed there until the stock of sandalwood and camphor was over. Then he returned to Puri. So many pujaris, already Madhavendra Puri was very famous in Remuna. They would grind every single day sandalwood and camphor and smear on Gopinath's body. Madhavendra Puri himself would grind. He would live in the temple and he made sure that Gopal temperature is reduced by offering this to Gopinath. And all 82 pounds of stock for months was over, and now the service is over. So Madhavendra Puri was inspired and he returned to Puri. After saying this, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu read the famous verse of Madhavendra Puri. That verse is just like the moon, it has spread illumination all over the world. Now, the story of Madhavendra Puri is over. Starting from Vrindavan, to Vrindavan, going to Govindakund, Gopal came in his dream. He found Gopal established, temple established, extensive worship for 2 years, went to Remuna, KsirChor went to Puri, got the sandalwood camphor, came back, applied on Gopinath, and now came back to Puri. And now Madhavendra Puri is in the last days of his life. He's he's very old. And coming back to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he read the famous verse of Madhavendra Puri. It is said that this verse is just like a moon. It has spread illumination all over the world. And we are going to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. First, we will see Mahaprabhu's reaction to that verse also. How Mahaprabhu is glorifying this one verse of Madhavendra Puri. Something more on this one verse. Continuous rubbing increases the aroma of Malaya sandalwood. Similarly, consideration of this verse increases one's understanding of its importance. You take sandalwood, you rub, and the flavor becomes more and more, the smell becomes more and more enchanting. Likewise, you take this verse spoken by Madhavendra Puri, which illuminates the whole world, and you think about this verse again and again, again and again, again and again. The more you read, and contemplate, you will understand more the value of this verse that we are soon going to discuss. এই শ্লোকা কাহিয়াছে না রাধা ঠাকুরানী Tanda Kripaya Shvuriyache Madhavendravani. Actually, this verse was spoken by Srimati Radharani herself, and by her mercy only was it manifest in the words of Madhavendra. This is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu speaking. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Radha Bhavatyuti Swatam Naumi Krishna Sarupam. He is Srimati Radharani in the mood of Krishna, and he himself is telling this word was spoken by Radharani. When this verse is viraha bhav, or the mood of separation. This happened when Sri Krishna left Vrindavan to Mathura and Radharani was in intense separation. And in that separation, she would chant this verse again and again. And it manifested in the heart of Madhavendra Puri. Every time Madhavendra Puri would chant this verse, he would cry. Now, I'm not sure, something about a particular instance I remember, something related to my spiritual master. He was, some of you may have heard Bhakti Tirth Maharaj. He was a sannyasi, contracted with melanoma cancer, last stage. His leg was cut off, but it was too late. The cancer was spread all over his body. The doctor said he would leave the body within few days. So he requested my spiritual master that can you stay with me during the last few days of my life? I want to leave my body in your arms. So Maharaj was melted, and my spiritual master told him that there is no greater service to Srila Prabhupada I can do than being with you in these last moments. So they stayed, and those few days went more than 2 months, and Maharaj cancelled all the preaching programs. And he said he was really busy during those times. But he would day and night stay with Bhakti Tirth Maharaj discussing Krishna Katha. And every single day, Bhakti Tirth Maharaj and my Guru Maharaj, they would recite this verse by Madhavendra Puri, and they would cry tears of love. So I'm just trying to emphasize on how important this verse becomes for those who are feeling separation. And again, and we will see how Mahaprabhu reacted when he heard that verse, spoken personally by Srimati Radharani, something that illuminates. The more you consider, the more you chant, the more you remember, the more how important the verse is becomes revealed to you. So that's just a build up before we actually come to the verse. शेषकाले ए श्लोका पठिते पठिते सिद्धि प्राप्ति Hailapurira Shlokera Sahite. Madhavendra Puri recited this verse again and again at the end of his material existence. As he was about to leave the body, he would again and again recite this verse. Thus, uttering this verse, he attained the ultimate goal of life. So, Madhavendra Puri, of course, he has already attained perfection, but this is spoken by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that his devotion intensified unlimited number of times by reciting these verses again and again and again at the end of his life, and he attained the goal of his life, Krishna Prema, just by reciting this verse. So now here is the verse. I dina dayadra nath re mathura nath kadavalok yase hridayam tvam aloka kataram daita bhramyati kim karomi aham. So this is a, let's I dina dayadra nathre. Oh, mm, um, Dina Dayal. Dina Dayal means, Dina means who are fallen, who are helpless, and Dayalu is merciful. He Nath, who is merciful on the uh, who is merciful on the Dinas. Dina means who have nothing other than you as their property. Who is very merciful unto them. So we can imagine Srimati Radharani in the mood of viraha separation. Uh, O merciful of the distressed, and she is in great distress. Or Madhvendrapuri, O merciful of the distress, because
సారీ అండి. చిచ్చి. రేపు క్లాస్ ఇంపార్టెంట్. నేను అలా వాకింగ్ ఫినిష్ చేసామా.
okay, okay, thank you. Uh, o um, O friend of the distressed, O one who can relieve our pain, our suffering. I deen Dayadra Nath re, Mathura Nath Kadava Lok Yese. Kada means when. Our Lok Yese is I shall see you. O Lord of Mathura, when I shall see you again. Now we can imagine Radharani's state in deep separation. Krishna left for Mathura and crying tears of love, and again these words are coming out. O Lord of Mathura, when I shall see you again. O Lord of Mathura, O friend of the distress, friend of the poor, when I shall see you again, when I shall see you again. And same of Madhvendrapuri and Bhakti Tirth Maharaj. Hidayam Tvam Aloka Kataram. Um, Katana means my heart is getting aggrieved very much. It's like um, intense suffering. I am going through intense suffering in my separation from you. That's why this verse is viraha bhav, separation. Hridayam tvad aloka kataram. I'm very much aggrieved in my heart from my separation from you. Daita bhramyati, O most beloved one, kim karomi ham. What shall I do now? What shall I do? O Lord of Mathura, friend of the poor, my heart is very much aggrieved because I am not able to see you. I am not able to survive. What shall I do? What shall I do? What shall I do? So this is intense Varaha Bhav. So these three personalities have explained the mood of separation. What shall I do, O Lord of Mathura? O my Lord, O most merciful Master, O Master of Mathura, when shall I see you again? Kada avalokshase, O Lord of Mathura, when shall I see you again? Because of my not seeing you, Hridayam Tvad Aloka Kartanam, my agitated heart has become unsteady, aggrieved. Um, O most beloved one, what shall I do now? What shall I do? When there is lot of pain and death is not coming, it is described, my spiritual master says, Bhakti Tirth Maharaj really wanted to leave his body soon. So one time it was near Nashin Chaturthi, and he thought maybe today I will leave the body. So he was giving a class also. Although his leg is cut off, his body is in extreme pain, and he was doing lot of kirtan, praying, "My Lord, please." And this pain was not because of the body, but pain was because of separation. So he was constantly praying. He was telling later, my spiritual master really wanted to leave the body in the class in front of the deities, but I could not. So his mood was, what shall I do now? Where are you? I'm not able to see you. My heart is aggrieved with so much pain. What should I do? What should I do? What should I do? When Sri Krishna left Vrindavan and accepted the kingdom of Mathura, Srimati Radharani, out of ecstatic feeling of separation, expressed how Krishna can be loved in separation. So this is how Radharani expressed how to love Krishna in separation. Something Mahaprabhu's mood on that. এই শ্লোকাপরিতে প্রভু হাইলা মূর্ছিতা. As soon as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu read this verse, Haila Murchita. Murchita means he was broken. He became unconscious, as we see in the picture. So this is the state in they are in Sakshi Gopal Mandir. Nitai and three other associates are there, and Mahaprabhu is reciting "E Deen Dayal, E Deen Dayal, Kim Karomi Ham," and then he just started weeping. Premita Vivasahana Parila Bhumita. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recited this verse, he immediately fell to the ground unconscious. He was overwhelmed, and had no control over himself. Um, Murchita. प्रेमोन्माद हाइला उथी इति धाये हुंकार कराए हासे कांडे नाचे गाए. Exhibiting ecstatic emotions, the Lord began to run here and there, making resounding noises. So, hunkar, it's like it's premon unmad. Unmad means madness. Premon mad means madness out of love. So when one becomes mad out of love, he cries out and he lost all external consciousness. It's go, "Hoo, hoo." So it's like hunkar. These are one of the symptoms of Astavakra, um, uh, 8 symptoms of ecstasy. Astavikar, making resounding noises, hunkar. Hase kande nache gaye. Sometimes he would laugh, kande he would cry, nache he would dance, gaye he would sing. So he laughed, cried, danced, and sang. Just remembering this verse. I Dina, I Dina, bole bar bar, kathe nahi sare vani, netre ashudhar. I Dina. So Mahaprabhu became Premon Mat, mad in love, and he is calling out, "O Lord of the Merciful, O Lord of the Merciful." Again and again, he just could not go beyond. He wanted to say, "I Dina Dayadara Mathura Nathre," but he like "I Dina," and then tears gush from his eyes, and then again "I Dina." So as soon as he's trying to just recite this verse, he could not recite Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I Dina," and this Netre Ashrudhar. So this dhar means this like a river. Profusely, Prabhupada explains. Kathe nani hasare vani netre ashrudha. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could not recite the whole verse. He simply said, "I Dina, I Dina." He could not recite the verse. And similar emotions were exhibited by Bhakti Tirth Maharaj. My spiritual master says that those were the best time of my life is association of Bhakti Tirth Maharaj. Because Bhakti Tirth Maharaj aggressively preached. I mean, you can see some of his videos. He has written many books on many advanced topics. Bhakti Tirth Maharaj. One of his book is like Die Before Dying, commentary on Madhurya Kadambini, the spiritual warriors, and many books he has written. So he would also, when he was with my spiritual master, he would be reciting this verse, I Dina, and he would break into tears. So Maharaj said, I really saw love of God. And one time Bhaktivedanta Maharaj told my spiritual master that Maharaj, I saw that Krishna is coming tomorrow to take me. And there are two chariots coming, one for me and one for you. Let us go. You also come with me. So Maharaj is in completely different mood. Bhaktivedanta Maharaj. So repeatedly, he could not complete the whole verse. And Netra Shrudhar. And profuse tears were in his eyes repeatedly. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu composed himself, and then when Mahaprabhu composed himself, it is said that the pujaris of KsirChorGopinath were like astounded. They were like impossible to see the state of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So there were 8 cups offered of sweet rice, and they bought all the 8 cups of sweet rice in front of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and kept at his feet to please honor. So Mahaprabhu composed himself. He saw people are watching me and what is happening. He came to little external consciousness, and he ate the sweet rice, and then he distributed one cup to all the associates, and remaining he left. He gave it back, and then he passed that night at the temple. So that's what Mahaprabhu would do. He would go to different temple and stay there overnight. Then he went to Varhadev temple. He stayed overnight, and then he went to Sakshi Gopal temple, and then Nityananda Prabhu described the glory of Sakshi Gopal that we will begin now. So engage the night at the temple at the temple engaging congregational chanting. So his night was congregational chanting. In the morning, after seeing the Mangalati performance, he departed. Shraddha this is Falastuti. Shraddha Yukta Hana Iha Sune E Jana Shri Krishna charane sei paya prema dhana. Shraddha yukta hana iha sune e jana. Sune e jana. Whoever, any living entity who hears this with Shraddha faith, Shri Krishna charane sei paya prema dhana. He will attain love of God at the lotus feet of Krishna. Shri Krishna Charan Sahi Paya Premadhana. One who hears this narration with faith and devotion attains the treasure of love of Godhead at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So many Falastutis, they all give us love of God. So let's keep hearing and discussing these pastimes. I'm waiting for Premadhana to descend. Shri Rupa Raghunath Padayara A Chaitanya Charitamrita Kahi Krishna Das. Praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rupa and Shri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I Krishna's Naresh Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. And now we'll continue. Uh, this is Madhya Leela chapter 5. Some mistake here. The pastime of Sakshi Gopal. We know the Sakshi Gopal, many devotees they love Sakshi Gopal. I remember like Anand Hari Prabhu, his daughter Gaurangi, many of you saw her. She keeps on chanting Sakshi Gopal, and she has her own Laddu Gopal deity that she serves, and she has named him Sakshi Gopal. So this is very dear and very beautiful pastime. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of God, Brahmana Deva, um, who appeared as Sakshi Gopal to benefit a Brahmana. We see here how the Lord reciprocates with his devotees in this particular chapter. For 100 days he traveled through the country. Sakshi Gopal, it's very rare that a deity travels. But Sakshi Gopal traveled for 100 days through the country. He traveled through the country walking on his own legs. Thus his activities are wonderful. Vrindavan is glorified because Krishna walked there. And Krishna's feet has symptoms of umbrella, chakra, gada, elephant, and many things. So that is imprint onto the ground on the earth, and those are like treasure. When Akrura came, we saw Charan Pahadi. He fell at the impression of Krishna's feet, and but Krishna walked um, in Vrindavan, and here Krishna walked all the way to Orissa. Thus his activities are wonderful on his own legs. Jayo Jayo Shri Chaitanya Jayo Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Jayo Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya 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 Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Lord Nityananda Prabhu, all glories to Advaita Charya, all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the town of Katak. Katak is one of the main city of Orissa. Maybe it is the capital, I don't know, but one of the main city of Odisha. So Mahaprabhu went to Katak. Now Mahaprabhu went to Remuna, and then he is walking toward Puri. Puri is in Orissa also, and in Orissa only on the way, because he was waiting at different temples. On a way, this temple come Katak. When he saw the deity of Gopal, he was very much pleased with his beauty. For everyone's pleasure, this is the actual deity of Shakshi Gopal, who was in Vrindavan, worshipped for unknown number of years, and finally he moved, and now he served in another temple in Orissa. He was served in Katak, but later on he was moved to Jagannath Puri. He stayed there for a few years, and then he moved to a separate town near Jagannath Puri. So now this is now there is also a train station. It's the name of the train station Shaki Gopal. So you can take a train and the train will stop you at the town. It's called Shaki Gopal or Sakshi Gopal. It is 11 miles from Jagannath Puri. Or you can take a taxi. It may take probably 45 minutes. from Jagannath Puri, and then we must take the darshan of Sakshi Gopal. It's very auspicious and pray. This is a little more close up of the same picture. Very attractive deity. Um, as you can see his size, he is like a life size deity who personally walked behind the Brahmana. Okay. While while there, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Varahadev temple, stayed overnight. Then whichever temple he would meet, he would go by the night, he would stay and do congregational chanting whole night and continued. Finally they came here. And while they arrived at this Katak temple, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu engaged in chanting and dancing for some time, and being overwhelmed, he offered many prayers to Gopal. Any deity Mahaprabhu would see, he would see Krishna there. Because, like that we discussed earlier, the holy name and the deities and the dham, they reveal according to one's consciousness. So Mahaprabhu is seeing Krishna everywhere. And we will see more of his reaction maybe next week or next to next week when he actually reaches and sees Jagannath deity. And then lot of in Adi Lila, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami explains among all the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, the pastime Shesha pastime are Madhya Lila and Antya Lila. They are called Shesha pastime. They are most important, and they are not being described by Chaitanya Bhagavat because he described a lot about Nitai. So those pastimes are in great detail, in relishably described um, in the chapter from next week, next to next week maybe, when he comes to Jagannath Puri. Later in the night, Lord Nityananda Prabhu spoke about the pastime of Shakshi Gopal. So Nitai, before he met Lord Chaitanya, when he was 11 years old, for many years, almost 10 years, or almost actually 20 years, Nitai traveled Vrindavan, and then he went to Gaya also, and he went to Kathak also. He went to South India, the Ranganath temple. So he went all over. He went to Kerala. He went all over Nitai. So he came here and he heard the story from locals about Shakshi Gopal, the glories, and Nitai is sharing it with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and other associates who were traveling with him. So there is a old Brahmana and a young Brahmana. Um, um, they wanted to go on a Tirth Yatra. So they first went to Gaya, they went to Kashi, Prayag, they went to Mathura. Then they toured around the 12 forests of Vrindavan. Um, and then they went to Govardhan, they did Parikrama of Govardhan. Then they finally went to the town of Vrindavan. The town of Vrindavan extends from Vrindavan up to Nandagram in Varsana, a distance of 32 miles. So Vrindavan, now when we say 12 forests of Vrindavan, technically we can call it 12 forests of Braja, or it is also called 12. There are total 12 forests, 12 main forests. There are many other smaller forests also. So when we say 12 forests of Vrindavan, it Vrindavan is one of those 12 forests actually. But in common language we may call 12 forest of Vrindavan or something like that. But this Vrindavan forest, the one of the 12 forest, that is one of the biggest forest, extend 32 miles all the way to Vrindavan up to Nandagaon, Barsana, everything is covered under Vrindavan. So they went to the the Vrindavan, the main village of Vrindavan, at the site where Govinda temple is now situated. So Govinda temple was situated that time when Rupa Goswami established Govinda Devji, and we saw the deity move to Jaipur now. So there was a great temple. There was a great temple where gorgeous worship of Gopal was performed. The beauty of Gopal deity stole away their minds, and feeling great happiness, they remained there for 2 to 4 days. So these two Brahmanas, young Brahmana, old Brahmana, they were touring all over Vrindavan. They came to this Gopal temple. Later on, he received the name Sakshi Gopal. Overwhelmed by the beauty of this Gopal, they stayed there for 2 to 4 days. It is at the location where Govindev temple is today. Older Brahmana was, this is the story in short, but just some lessons are coming out from whatever I could grasp, older older Brahmana was very pleased with the service of uh, younger Brahmana. Um, so younger Brahmana said that I am very pleased with your service. I will offer you my daughter in marriage. Young Brahmana was without proper education, wealth, uh, or aristocracy, so he expressed concern. So he said, "I will give," and this young Brahmana said, "Well, it is never, it is unheard of. You are very rich, all of you are highly educated, and you are from a very aristocratic background, but I am not educated, um, very poor background, not from aristocratic family background. Um, so it's unheard of." Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that even today, rich class of people don't marry their daughter among poor class. Even today in India, they are hesitant to do that, even though they may be in the same caste. So young Brahmana said that it is unheard of. कन्यादान पात्र आमी नाहाई तोमार कृष्ण प्रीत्या करी तोमार सेवा व्यवहार. Sir, I am not a suitable bridegroom for your daughter. I render service to you only for the satisfaction of Krishna. Um, Prabhupada says that both Brahmanas were pure by heart. In other words, they both are pure devotees of Krishna. And we can see the older Brahmana said that even my own son will not render such service the way you have rendered service. But the young Brahmana was not rendering service for any other purpose, but just to please Krishna. And we know the purpose of all duty is Samsiddhim Haritosham, to please Krishna. The younger man took special care of the older one simply to please Krishna. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna says, Mad Bhaktya Puja Vedika. It is better to render service to my devotee. So one receives the grace of the Lord if one serves the devotee. That's what Prabhupada says in the purport. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also recommends to become Das Anudas. One of the one of the famous verse of Prahlad Maharaj, when Nrsimhadev appears to him, he says, I have received your mercy because of Narad Muni. So how can I give up my service to Narad Muni? Before paying my obeisances to you, I first pay my obeisances to Narad Muni. There is also a verse which says, uh, uh, Sachiputram Atta Sarupam Rupam Tasyagrajam Urupurim Madhuroshtim, which is like, I have received um, Rupa Goswami, Tasyagrajam Sanatan Goswami, I have received Mathura, I have received Vrindavan, I have received Govardhan, I have received Radha Kund, I have received Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and I have received service to Radha and Madhav, and I have received all these things just because my Guru Maharaj came in my life. If he would not have come in my life, who would have told me about Lord Chaitanya, Govardhan, Radha Kund, Radha Madhav, Rup and Sanatan Goswami, and everybody else? So, first, let me express my gratitude to my spiritual master. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains this approaching Krishna through Das and Das. Something Prabhupada quotes his own Guru Maharaj, Saraswati Thakur, and this is a comment by Saraswati Thakur. He says, because the younger Brahmana served the older one, Lord Gopal agreed to become a witness of the marriage negotiation in order to maintain the prestige of both devotees. Those who know the story, they know that um, Saraswati Thakur asked this question, why Gopal reciprocated with the young Brahmana. Actually, young Brahmana goes and prays to this Gopal deity to become a witness, and Gopal becomes a witness. So Saraswati Thakur says, why did Gopal give such reciprocation to the young Brahmana? Because he was serving the older Brahmana. So he brings out that point that service to Vaishnavas, he was he was serving the Lord by going to holy places and doing other things, but because he was serving another devotee, that really pleased Gopal, and he reciprocated in such a big way. Mahat Seva. Young Brahmana said, without the consent of all your sons, wife, friend, and relatives, it is not possible to give me your daughter in charity. Just consider the story of Queen Rukmini and her father Bhishmak. So, young Brahmana is very honest and straight spoken. So he is telling that, okay, you have a lot of gratitude for my service. You want to give your daughter to me. First of all, I am not serving you for any other purpose other than pleasing Krishna. Moreover, if everybody is against you, your son, your wife, your relatives and friends, what will you do? Without their approval, you cannot give me your daughter, and you are giving me your promise here. So think about it. Think about what happened, and then he gives an example. Think about what happened between Queen Rukmini and his father Bhishmak. So Bhishmak wanted to marry Rukmini Devi to Krishna, but Bhishmak's son was Rukmi. He wanted Rukmini to marry Shishupal. Um, his father, although he wanted her daughter to get married to Krishna, he could not do anything but arrange a marriage towards Shishupal because his son was so powerful. And then what happened? Then Rukmini sent a letter to Krishna and she said, Krishna, kidnap me. And Krishna came and kidnapped Rukmini. So that's how it happened. So he said, remember, when the son obstructed, the father could not do anything. So you are promising, but you should take consent. Without taking consent, and they would never agree to me because I don't have wealth. I'm a poor man, not educated. It's just unheard of, this situation. So they both came. Coming before Gopal, the elderly Brahmana said, my dear Lord, please witness, I have given my words to this boy. Prabhupada says in the purport that previously it could happen when when the young boy, when two two married couples, when they have very small children, and if one has a boy and one have a girl, they would give their words among each other that once my girl will grow up, I will give you a daughter, and the other family will also say yes, they are married right now. And just by the words had so much value that time. After 20 years they would get married, and Prabhupada also says that a daughter is considered under the care of father in Vedic culture. So father, previous ages, previous time has changed now. The girl would not even see the husband before marriage. The father would go and see the boy and meet the family, and he said, okay, I give my words, my daughter is yours now. And the father would just go and tell the daughter, now your marriage is confirmed, and daughter would not ask any question, and she would just get married. So this was the culture during this time. So Brahmana said, well, a daughter is my property, so I am the guardian, the caretaker. So I am giving my words to you, and it will certainly happen. So he went to Gopal Reddy and he said, please, you become the witness. I have given my words that I will give my daughter to this boy. Prabhupada said, this is the discussion between Lord Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They are not going to speak about mundane marriage things, but it directly relates to Gopal. That's why this discussion is coming here. After returning home, all family members protested in the name of family prestige. Naturally, the Brahmana, they all came back home, and Brahmana said everything, how this young Brahmana took care of me. I have given my words, I will give my daughter to him. And the son was like, Father, have you gone mad? And his wife was also, they protested, and this old Brahmana was like, no, I have given my words. So the relatives, they all, the basically the wife and the daughter, and even the son and even the daughter, none of them were happy that a poor, uneducated, unaristocratic man you want to get my sister married. If you give your daughter to that boy, we shall give up all connection with you. Indeed, his wife and sons declared, if such a thing happens, we shall take poison and die. So the Brahmana is like completely helpless. He said, okay, you have given your words, you give your daughter, we will just take poison. And he's like, what should I do? This is like a regular thing that happened. So the son said, the elder Brahmana said, but I have already given my words. He will come tomorrow and ask, what will I say? I cannot lie. I mean, Brahmana is a pure devotee, but he has to face such challenges. I cannot lie. So the son said, you do not have to, you do not have to flatly deny that you spoke such a thing. There is no need to make a false statement. Simply say that you do not remember what you said. So this is called, like the son is trying to manipulate his father. Okay, yeah, I understand your prestige is there and you have given your words and you are very pakka with your words. Just say you are an old man anyways, right? So just say that you don't remember what you spoke. So likewise, they are trying to convince. So something Prabhupada's comment about this older Brahmana's son, and Prabhupada said he was fool number one. So very wonderful. Prabhupada telling his son he was fool number one. Consequently, he did not believe in the spiritual position of the deity. The Brahmana told that I have given my words, and Gopal is Sakshi for that. Gopal knows that. And what if he comes and says, um, and Brahmana is a pure devotee, this younger Brahmana, so we cannot do this. So the son said, I will take care of everything. You just say, don't remember, leave rest everything up to me. And he was, so Prabhupada says he was a fool number one. He did not believe in the spiritual position of the deity, nor did he have any faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is like, अरे क्या साक्षी बनाया आपने गोपाल को? This is all foolish talks. He was thinking like this in the mind. So Prabhupada, that's why he call him fool number one, because he has no faith in Krishna. Therefore, such a typical idol worshipper, I mean, he has deities in his home. He considered the form of the Lord to be made of stone and wood. He would think that this is only stone or this is only wood. This is not like, this is not like he would come and speak and talk. He's like a dead statue. What can he do? So that's why Prabhupada called him fool number one. Thus he assured his father that the witness was only a stone deity and was not capable of speaking. So witness means, the Lord has to come and speak. Yes, I am the witness. I saw that. And the elder Brahmana, he had that faith in Gopal, but this his son, he's a fool. एतस्सुनि विप्रेरा चिंतिता हैलमना ekanta bhave chinta vipra gopala charana. So he became very concerned, old Brahman, because he is a pure devotee. Eta suni viprera chintita hailamana. When he heard that, he said, Gopal, what can he do? He won't come and speak. He's just, a dead stone standing there. So his father, being a pure devotee, became very concerned. Chintita hailamana. Ekanta bhave. He alone by himself, Chinte Vipra Gopala Charana. He meditated on the lotus feet of Gopal because he is very true in his heart, but the situation is breaking him up. And on one side he has his promise, on the other side those those whom he is caring for, they are telling, we will take poison and die. So he's like, what do I do, my lord? So when the elderly Brahmana heard this, his mind became very much agitated. Chintita Hailamana. Feeling helpless, he simply turned his attention to the lotus feet of Gopal. So this a devotee should do when he faces any situation. Now this is a situation that we may end up in our lives many times. Is Govind Prabhu says, our life is not between black and white like right and wrong, but it is between right and more right, what to do and what not to do. Like that, the decision had to be made. If we are in a situation of elderly Brahmana, what we should do? I mean, there is family members who are willing to take poison, and there is my word. So it's not an easy thing. It's easy to say that, yeah, I will just go with Krishna, but when we are in this situation, it's not easy. Arjuna was a pure devotee, and he became very weak when he saw his grandfather Bhishma Dev, because Bhishma Dev loved them, and Bhishma Dev was a pure devotee of Krishna. Through Krishna, he got the strength. So Brahmana just meditated on lotus feet of Gopal. My lord, you help me. I don't know how to act in this situation. Mora dharma raksha pai, na mora nija jana, na mare nija jana, doi raksha hara Gopal lainu sharana. So this is the beautiful selfless attitude of the old Brahmana. He said, Mora dharma raksha pai. Please protect my dharma. My dharma is I have given my words. He is a pure devotee. I have given my words to you. So this is my dharma now. Even Dharma Yudhishthira was very specific to not lying, and he if he gives his words like that, he said, I have given my words and you are Sakshi, so please protect my dharma, na mare nija jana, and please protect their life also. So he has two options. Either he see the dead bodies of his family members, his own son, daughter, and his wife. Either he break his dharma, religious principles. So this is like a deadlock for the elder Brahmana, and he said, Mora dharma raksha pai, na mare ni jajana, please protect both. Dui raksha kara, please, these two raksha yoga, protect my dharma and protect their life. Gopala lainu sharana, so I am surrendering onto you. Krishna can make impossible things possible, and Brahmana was in deadlock, doesn't know what to do. So in those situations when we take shelter of Krishna, Krishna can make a way out which is impossible to make out. Very good example is Ashwadhama. There was no way out. Some were saying kill Ashwadhama, Bhima was saying cannot kill him, and they were fighting, and Krishna took four-handed and he's trying to stop them. It was a very, now it is not like a small situation. It is like their own sons were killed, their heads were removed from their body, and we have to be in that situation to imagine how much pain and what is the aggrieved state of heart they are in. And that time Krishna found a solution that he satisfied both. So Krishna can do that. But so elder Brahmana is like, Gopal lainu sharana, I am taking shelter of you. Eta suni sei vipra rahe munidhari, tandra putra marite aila, hate thenga kari. So what happened the next day? The young Brahmana arrived, and the young Brahmana arrived and he told the older Brahmana, my dear Brahmana Vipra, do you remember your promise? I told you I'll come. Can I get married to your daughter? You have given my words, and the Gopal is Sakshi for that. Eta Soni E Vipra Rahe Maunadhari. So when the elder Gopal heard, he was already in a deadlock situation. Life or my religious principle, what should I do? So he stayed silent. Maunadhari, Tandra Putta Marite Aila Hati Thenga Kari. But his Brahmana came with a stick and he started beating the young Brahmana. So this, materialistic people with materialistic intelligence, they don't have any discrimination power. This young Brahmana is a pure devotee, and he started beating him with a stick. So after the young Brahmana arrived and submitted his statement, the elderly Brahmana remained silent. Taking this opportunity, his son immediately came out with a stick to strike the younger man. Seeing a stick in the hand of the son, the younger Brahmana fled. So the Brahmana was afraid. By nature, Brahmana, they are, to beat up somebody, you need to be in mode of passion. But a Brahmana cannot do such activities. So he just ran away. Um, the next day, however, he gathered together all the people of the village, like the Sarpanch. Sarpanch gathered all villagers and told the old Brahmana family to resolve the issue. So he went, he told all the villagers, Elder Brahmana has given his words. Why is he going? But he is not giving his daughter to me now. Um, what shall I do? So all the villagers, they called the whole family and they questioned the older Brahmana, if you have given your words to this young Brahmana, why are you not giving your daughter to him now? And then what happened? Vipra kahe suna loka mora nivedana, kabe ke bali yachi mora, nahi kasmarana. The elder Brahmana said, my dear friends, please hear. what I have to submit. Mora nivedana. काबे की बलियाची मोरा नाही का स्मरण. Smarana means remember. Kabe ki baliyachi. I do not exactly remember making a promise like that. So this is something like similar situation like Yudhishthira Maharaj and Krishna. Yudhishthira Maharaj is like he doesn't want to break his dharma, but at the same time he's like confused. So although the elder Brahmana, he's pure at heart and he really want this young Brahmana because a pure devotee always sees, or an advanced devotee always sees where my daughter will my daughter get married um, to a devotee. Otherwise, my son will choose another materialist and it will spoil my daughter's life. So um, he really want this to happen, but then life of his own relatives or his own dharmic principle. But he was bound. So he was depending upon Gopal and he said, I don't remember what I said. Um, so this is called duplicitous behavior. The Brahmana's son spoke. This rogue fed intoxication to my father and plundered all his wealth. Now he is claiming my sister. So in this way, he started making up things. This is called duplicitous behavior, where outside and inside don't match. So he is telling actually this young Brahmana, he was going with my father. My father has lot of wealth. This young Brahmana was a poor. He became very greedy. So he fed intoxication to my father. He plundered all the wealth. And then he told my father, when my father actually came out of intoxicating effect, that the thief came and plundered all our wealth. And he kept all the money behind him. So that kind of rogue and thief this person is. Uh, तोमारा सकल लोक करह विचार मोरा पितार कन्या दीते योग्य की इहार. All of you assembled here are gentlemen. Please judge whether it is befitting to offer this poor Brahmana my father's daughter. So this is duplicity. Like he is completely materialistic. He is a fool. Prabhupada says not a normal fool. He says he is a fool number one. Um, he has all ill motives, but his words are very sweet and his words are very convincing. And he has no guilt feeling that such a pure devotee he is criticizing in public. So, and see the words he is using. He is telling, all of you assembled here are gentlemen. So, this is called duplicitous behavior, means he is trying to impress them in such a way that they support him, but his motive is ill. This is called envious behavior. Or just like Duryodhan, he told Durvasa Muni that very nice food will be prepared by Pandavas. We want you with all the 60,000 sages to please go and give opportunity for my brothers to serve you all so they can get greatly benefited by that seva. But internally he wanted them to be cursed by Durvasa and suffer. So likewise he is telling all of you are gentlemen, all the assembled here are gentlemen. Please judge whether it is befitting to offer this poor Brahmana my father's daughter. Is it befitting? So this is called duplicitous behavior. This is something that we read, Raghunath Das Goswami in Mana Siksha. He says, O ruffian mind, why do you burn yourself and me by bathing in the trickling urine of the great donkey of full-blown hypocrisy and duplicity? Why? So he is comparing this duplicitous behavior to a bathing of donkey urine, where we say we say and in a very sweet words, but inside we are as sharp as a knife, but the words we are saying sounds like so convincing, and this is a horrible behavior. um, it is described that Krishna says one of the quality he like in a Vaishnava is simplicity. Simplicity means what is inside, what is outside. And Srimad Bhagavatam describes Krishna has so much love for the gopis because gopis were very simple ladies, very simple girls, cowherd girls. So here we see materialistic people are mostly duplicitous, and this duplicitous behavior is very difficult to come out of it. Raghunath Das Goswami says, after we overcome lust, anger, envy, greed, pride, then in the fifth verse he says, if lust, anger, pride attacks, call out to the devotees of the Lord. He compares lust, anger, envy, greed like highway robbers. You are walking at full speed in Krishna consciousness and they will attack and they will steal your divinity away from your heart. And if you call out to the devotees of the Lord, they are like cops. They will come and they will save you. They will save you. So then you can again start walking on the path of devotion. But then, why are you, after being saved, yourself bathing in the urine of in donkey urine? Um, Instead, you should always bathe in the ocean of love emanating from the lotus feet of Shri Shri Gandharvika Giridhari, thereby delighting yourself and me. So you become happy, satisfied, and blissful by meditating on the pastimes of the Lord and serving their Lordship. Why now this Brahmana was in a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, and he's kind of he's speaking in a very convincing way, but inside his heart he is very disturbed also. This young, this son of the older Brahmana. So not this is not at all recommended. So the the young man, see, the young man is very simple. Simplicity means what is inside, what is outside. So this young man said, actually, this elder Brahmana, we were traveling together. He told me that I will give you my daughter because I'm very pleased with your service. What his son is telling is not true. Um, I told the older Brahmana that your son and your wife will not support you. I gave him the example of how Bhishmaka wanted his daughter to get married to Krishna, but he could not do so. But he gave witness in front of Sakshi Gopal. In front of Gopal, Gopal is Sakshi. ताबे इन्हो गोपालेरा आगे ते कहिला तुम्ही jana ए विप्रे कन्या आमी dila. This gentleman said in front of the Gopal deity, my dear Lord, please bear witness. I have offered my daughter to this Brahmana in charity. So he went to the Lord and he made him the witness. Gopal is a witness. So some of the people among the villagers and this young son, they started laughing. Why? Prabhupada said because they are fool number one. They started laughing that, oh, Gopal is a witness. Oh yeah, Gopal is a witness. But young Brahmana is very simple and he has faith. So he's telling, no, Gopal knows that. He knows. He gave his daughter to me. So this is like devotee versus non-devotee. So we are closing. We'll probably read a couple of slides more. A pure devotee who has firm faith in the words of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is to be considered most learned scholar, the topmost aristocrat, and the richest man. So, so Prabhupada said, if you really want to know who the richest man is, who is a learned scholar, or who is an aristocrat, those who have faith in the words of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A pure devotee has those faith. So actually indicating that this younger Brahmana, who was materially poor and uneducated, he was highly educated because he know the scriptures, the essence of scriptures. What does Krishna says? Vedanta Krit Veda Videva Chaham. Veda Vid, the purpose of Vid is to know. Veda Vid, the purpose of all the Vedas is Eva Cha Aham, is to know me. And one who knows that he is actually the most learned, the most educated man. And he is the richest man. And why Prabhupada says he's the richest man? Because Prabhupada has his own experiences. So Prabhupada said, we as the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. So Prabhupada is taking great pleasure, and he wrote in the purport servant four times. He says, "We as the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead fully believe in the words of Krishna, Bhagavad Gita. Whatever Krishna says, we accept." So that is a devotee's faith. Or either we can become the son of the elder Brahmana with no faith in what Krishna says, or we can fully believe in the words of Krishna. So we are either a fool number one, or we are a greatly learned scholar based on one's faith in Krishna's words. All godly qualities automatically exist in such a devotee. Srimad Bhagavatam says, those who are not devotees of the Lord, they have no good qualities. See the quality of his wife and his son and his daughter and some of the other villagers. They have no good qualities. But see the quality of this Brahmana. In spite of a deadlock situation, he is turning to Laila Gopalacharana, Gopal Laila Charana. He's, my Lord, please help me. See this young Brahmana, Gopali Sakshi. They are so pure hearted. But these others are full of duplicitous behavior. And why they don't want him to get married? Their prestige. What will people think of him? So much ego. So they have actually no good qualities, but all godly qualities automatically exist in a pure devotee of the Lord who has faith in the words of Shri Krishna, even though we are neither a rich man nor a very learned scholar. So Prabhupada is telling about all the ISKCON followers. So he's telling about all of us, and he is telling, even though we are neither a rich man, so we have nothing, and not a very learned scholar. I mean, somebody brings Upanishads and Vedas, we don't know what to speak on them. So we are not a very learned scholar also, even though we do not belong to any aristocracy. I mean, we are not from aristocratic family. This movement is still being welcomed and is very easily spreading all over the world. And Prabhupada says Krishna supplies money whenever we need it. And whenever we need some men, Krishna supplies them. So Krishna is taking very good care. Prabhupada said we have none of these qualities, but when there is money required, Krishna sends money. When there is men required to support, Krishna sends men. Yoga Shema Bahamiyaham. Krishna supplies whatever is required to serve him. All we need is just a mood to service. And Prabhupada said, yeah, we are not great scholars, we are not rich men, and we are not from aristocratic family, but everybody is so eager to accept Krishna consciousness. The moment they feel Krishna's divinity in their heart, they are so enthusiastic. So this movement is still being welcomed and is very easily spreading all over the world. Actually, if we can attain the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, we do not need anything else. Prabhupada said we need only one thing. We need Krishna's favor. When will it come? When we sincerely practice and chant our 16 rounds sincerely, when we read every day, when we uh, um, just be sincere. Just be sincere. Hear every day. Read every day. Chant very sincerely. Best is chanting in the morning. So Prabhupada says, if we can attain the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, we do not need anything else. We should not be in a conception of I need this and I need this and I have these desires and I want this much wealth and I want this position. Prabhupada said for a devotee, we do not need anything else. That we don't want anything. What we want is favor from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If we get the favor from Supreme Personality of Godhead, we get everything else. Just like this, you will get everything else. So most important thing is favor. We certainly do not need those things which a mundane person considers a material assets. We don't want. They are running after so many things, let them run. We do not want that. We want the favor of the Supreme Lord. And we saw the example of Krishna. Arjuna chose Krishna over his army. Duryodhan was a fool number one. So he was thinking, I need the army. What will this man do? Yeah, he is the king, but he will act as a driver and he will not raise any weapon. So he is useless for me. So they don't want Krishna favor. They want all the material assets. They have faith in material assets over Krishna. I will be in a better situation if I have a better position, a better wealth, a better home, a better car, a better family, a better kids, a better. So Prabhupada said we don't want any of these things. These are all material assets. We certainly do not need those things which a mundane person considers a material asset. What we want, we just want favor of Krishna. And what happened? Arjuna had fame, Arjuna had wealth, Arjuna had, the last verse of Bhagavad Gita, one who has Krishna has everything else. Prabhupada says, uh, you become the most richest, you become aristocratic family, you become highly educated. So although we don't have anything, if we have favor of Krishna, we get everything. But if we have everything, but we do not have favor of Krishna, then we will not have those good qualities also, and then what's the use of that life? तबे बड़ा विप्र कहे यही सत्य कथा, गोपाल यदि साक्षी देना आपने आसी etha. So this is the last slide for today. Tabe bada bepra kahe. So this young Brahmana is very simple. He said, Gopal is a sakshi. You ask Gopal, and everybody started laughing. And the elder Brahmana son said, hey, he is the biggest fool. But he didn't understand that actually I am the biggest fool. So he is telling the elder Brahmana became very pleased because he wanted to support. So elder Brahmana said, "Ei satya katha, this is very true. Gopal yadi sakshi dena." Yadi Gopal gives sakshi, um, taking this opportunity, the elderly Brahmana immediately confirmed that this was really true. He said, if Gopal personally comes here to serve as a witness, I shall surely give my daughter to the young Brahmana. ताबे कन्या दीबा आमी जानिया निश्चय ताना पुत्र कहे ए bhala bata hai. So the son, the elder Brahmana son, he also said, "A bhala bata hai." Yeah, this is very good. If that dead stone, if he comes and speaks that he has made that promise, I will also give my daughter. So the elderly Brahmana son immediately confirmed this, saying, yes, this is a very nice settlement. So now this is Krishna's arrangement for, Krishna always helps his devotees. This is Krishna's arrangement that the son will not die if the marriage will happen, and the family will also not die, and Brahmana's religious principles will also be saved. His words will become true. Sakshi Gopal will come. He will give his words. The young Brahmana will not die, and the young Brahmana will get married, and the elder Brahmana's son, he will also be surprised and silent and will not commit suicide. So all this was arranged out of pure devotion of these two Brahmanas, that Gopal became Sakshi. So everything will become settled. So next week we will see, young Brahmana going and his prayer to Gopal. Gopal responds to him, and then how Gopal settled everything. So then we will move to Jagannath, Jagannath Puri. Okay, that's all we discussed today. It's 9 o'clock. Any discussion? Any question?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I have one question.
Okay, Harshini Mataji, yes.
So, uh, I understand duplicity means to be from inside something different and to show outside some different features. But one thing I'm not able to understand that it is said that devotee should not express the inner feelings, right, to non-devotee or some other person. So in that case, like to not show our real emotions, then how to deal with that
Hmm.
to avoid duplicity?
Hmm.
I'm literally confused sometimes because it is said that even we should not show our devotional feelings
Hmm.
also, right? Even if we are feeling something.
Wonderful question, Mataji. Well, duplicity is harmful when our intentions are harmful for others. But when our intention are good to others, then that is required. Like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he would see that others are seeing me, and I am in an internal state, he will become conscious because he doesn't want people to find fault in him, and that way they will degrade in their Krishna consciousness. He wants their welfare. So devotees also, when they hide from somebody else, two reasons. One is they want to protect their own devotion. Another is if the person doesn't have faith, they will judge them and they will think something in their mind that may not be good for them. That kind of duplicity is okay. Does it answer? Negative duplicity
Yes, Prabhuji, understood. So positive way, it's okay, not
is
the
okay.
negative one.
Yes.
Okay,
Just
got it.
another example of duplicity that we exhibit that is required. Suppose we have lot of say anger in our heart towards somebody, envy in our heart towards somebody, or some other emotions. But when we see them, we say Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Hare Krishna Madhyanvar Pranam. Please pray for me. Your devotion service is very inspiring. So we are telling these words internally. We have all these emotions. So this is required. This is a required duplicity because um, we are trying to protect, we are not acting on negative emotions. That's very good. But here we see the young brahmana, he is visibly now if we have negative emotions in our heart, I'm not saying it's required, but when we are in a deceit state, it's better to not act on them and tolerate and pray for Krishna to overcome that emotions. But what we see in Brahmana and Duryodhan is they are trying to make arrangements to harm them. Is that all right, Harshini Mata?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Okay, we will end here. My obeisance to all of you. Vanchakalpatarubhescha kripa sindhuve evacha पतितानां पावनेभ्य वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. नंदन प्रणाम. हरे कृष्णा. थैंक यू.
Thank you, Professor. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा.